I wanted to start this video just by showing how to get the M4 on jack stands, also exactly the same for the M3, any F8X model. Problem is, underneath the car you've got a complete flat panel. You've got 4 jacking points. Obviously when you're lifting with the jack you can't put the jack stand underneath the same point. So this just illustrates how you can get the car onto 2 jack stands. I've taken all the wheels off. I did the rears last week. Today I'm doing the fronts. So as you'll see from the video, there is a way of doing it. The car is so rigid, when you jack up from the rear, the front comes up at exactly the same time, and then you can pop a jack stand underneath the front. A little tip I got from BMW, use a sleeved wheel socket so you don't scratch the wheels when you're inserting the socket. Nice little tip there. Obviously I've got a torque wrench. I'm just fast forwarding here to loosen the wheels before I jack it up. Both sides obviously. Get these from eBay, little hockey pucks that are cut out to fit the rectangular jack point underneath the car. This is the first time I've ever jacked up my car, so I was a little bit apprehensive, so excuse the painfully slow process. Obviously locate the jack underneath the jacking point. Bring it up close to the contact point. Obviously not forgetting to slip the hockey puck into the socket. Jack up the car. As you can see, the front's coming up at the same time. Just double checking I'm located in the right place. Using a 2.5 ton low profile jack that I got from SGS Engineering in the UK. Quite impressed with it. Just slipping the jack stand underneath. Obviously I've got another rectangular hockey puck cut out to sit on top of the jack stand. Very carefully have to start lowering the car. Excuse the paranoia here. Don't want it to miss the jacking point on the stand. There we are. One wheel. Just repeating the process the other side. Now to remove the wheel bolts. I have heard it's very easy to chip the calipers on these cars, so remember to be quite careful when taking the wheel off not to catch the caliper. On to washing the wheels. I've run out of Adam's wheel cleaner. This one I'm using is a 50-50 dilution of the Adams, so not as strong as it should be. thought I'll use that first just to get started on the cleaning. Obviously sprayed that all over. Let it sit for 5 minutes or so. Now clean the wheels as you normally would with wheel woolies. Obviously I've fast forwarded this process as it's rather boring watching me clean a load of wheels. I must say those wheel woolies are excellent at getting in all the grooves. I will say this is the first time I've washed these wheels. I've had the car just over 10,000 miles in about a year. Obviously I've cleaned them on the car, but I've never taken them off before. APC on the tyres, give them a good scrub. Now I've cleaned them, I've just got some CarPro Iron X, just covering the wheels in those and letting that sit for another 5 minutes just to get any leftover contamination off. While the wheels are off, clean under the wheel wells. Bit of degreaser and agitate. Iron X under there as well, and rinse off. Now I noticed when BMW changed my tyres last, they thankfully left the wheel weight stickers residue all over, so I'm just using some Auto Finesse Obliterate and a credit card inside a microfiber towel just to try and get that off. Obviously this video's edited, this bit took me about 45 minutes. Very painful process. Then obviously cleaning the rest of the tar spots from the inside of the wheel. Just gave the wheels another quick wash after that. The next step after washing is to clay bar the wheels, just to get any minor contaminants off of there. I'm using quite a soft clay bar here, not ideal. You probably want to use a harder, or should I say stiffer clay. This is just an old bit I've used after claying the car. So I thought rather than throwing it away, I'll use it for the wheels. Takes about 10 minutes per wheel to do this in real time. Obviously I've sped it up for the purposes of the video. Onto the polishing of the wheels, using Mizerma PF2400 as a medium cut polish, using a foam cone attachment on a normal standard drill. You can just see that in the background there. It's the only thing I could think of to get in between the spokes and all the little nooks and crannies on the BMW wheels. Just spreading the polish on the cone by hand. Then spreading all over the wheels. I'm not sure this is the best method to use, but that's what I do. It's quite a soft cone, as you can see. It squeezes between the spokes without too much effort. It's got a plastic core, probably about 1.5 by 1/4 of an inch, so you can get it right in there. Just finishing off polishing the wheels. Obviously, when that's finished, just need to buff off the polish, try and get rid of any residue that you've got there. Then flip over and do the other side of the wheel. I must say this bit's a bit easier than the front. Just so you know, the whole process to do 2 wheels probably took about 3.5 hours. I did the rear wheels a week previously, so they're already done. Just spraying on some IPA, M4 dilution. Should probably use CarPro Eraser, but I'm too cheap to buy that stuff. This seems to do the job for me. Theory being getting rid of all the polish residue so that the Gyeon Rim coating that I'm going to apply shortly sticks properly to the wheel without anything interfering. So we're about 2 hours in at this stage, and we have a clean wheel, or as clean as I'm going to get it, put it that way. Just checking that I've got rid of all of the IPA, so I've got a dry surface to apply the coating to shortly. So, Gyeon Q2M Rim. You can't quite see in the shot. I do have a face mask on which comes with the kit. Highly recommended to use that. This stuff absolutely stinks, and even with the mask I did feel a bit lightheaded most of the evening. Comes with a little dropper and 4 applicator towels and a little sponge back. It's quite simple, you squeeze some on, wipe it on the wheel. Obviously I'm using the sponge block with the pad on top at this stage. It is a bit tricky to get into all the little nooks and crannies, so my theory was I went over it with the sponge, and then once I'd done the best job I could, just used the little square microfiber, just a little suede applicator just between my fingers, just to get into all the little gaps between the spokes and everything. I didn't want to go through all this effort and miss any spots, obviously. That's the front of the wheel pretty much coated. I did only put one coat on. You could probably do two, but I was a bit pushed for time. Just doing the inside of the wheel now. It's quite a thin liquid, slightly oily, so when you wipe it on you can quite easily see the bits that you've already applied, so you don't miss any spots. Simply wipe that all over, every bit you can possibly get to. And then after a couple of minutes I just went over it with a microfiber just to buff it off, make sure I didn't get any missed spots or high spots or anything. And that is one wheel treated. It does say to speed up the curing process, you can put it in front of UV lights. I don't have any UV lights, I've got these work lights, so I figured I may as well give it a go. They do kick out some heat, so I thought it might help. Officially you're supposed to leave it 24 hours to cure before you drive. I didn't have that luxury, I had about 4 hours, so I figured I'd put it in front of the lights for a little while. Just while it's curing, I'm using Adam's undercarriage spray just to bring back the black colour to the plastic trim underneath the wheel arches. Fantastic product this. Probably gets overlooked, I'd imagine, but it is certainly worth using if you've gone to all this effort. Also, the Gyeon Rim coating is apparently heat resistant to about 300 degrees, so I figured I may as well stick some on my brake calipers while I'm at it, just to make it a bit easier cleaning them in the future. Just used one of the old applicators that I'd used on the wheels to rub that all over there. See, buffing off any residue. And just rubbing in the Adam's undercarriage spray just to make sure that's well and truly pushed into all the gaps underneath the wheel arches. Now the wheels are as cured as they're going to get, but I thought before I put it back on the car, just use some Adams VRT to treat the tyres. Not only does that give them a nice satin finish, it is actually a hydrophobic product. Theory being, once this is finished, I'll have hydrophobic wheels and hydrophobic tyres. I'm hoping that means I can just drive through a puddle and I'll instantly have clean wheels in the future. It may not be the case, but in all seriousness, with a pressure washer, I should be able to get the wheels 90% clean just by spraying them. Obviously I won't, I'll still sit there for an hour with some wheel woolies every week out of habit. But it's nice to know nothing's going to stick. Obviously the next stage is courtesy of watching too many Matt Morman videos. As I'm doing this, I've noticed I have little knobbly bits all over my tyres. As an obsessed garage member, I can't possibly be having that. So thank you, Matt, for giving me this extra little step to the process. I do agree though, it looks far better once they're all gone. Not something I'd ever thought of doing before though. I put 2 coats of VRT on while I'm at it. Putting the wheels carefully back on the car. Probably didn't need to show you this, but as I had the camera, I may as well go through the full process. If you haven't turned off by now, then you can't be bored anyway. That's my theory. And that is the full process. The next part of the video is approximately a week later. The rear wheels were done a few days before this, so in the next part I'll show you, after a week's worth of driving, probably about 500 miles worth of brake dust and road grime, just how well the coating stands up to washing. Talking up the wheel bolts, should I say. And that's it. Now I have 4 wheels, all treated with Gyeon Q2M Rim. So here we are, 1 week later, just showing you the brake dust on the wheels. Probably about 500 miles driven in that time. Not a huge amount of dirt, but gives you the idea. Nice hydrophobic action on the wheels and tyres there. You can see the water beading on the wheels falling off. Just trying here, just pressure washing the wheels, no soap, no wheel cleaner, nothing, just to see if that's going to get rid of the dirt. Don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting a wonder product that's going to come out with perfect wheels just by squirting some water on it. But I thought in the interest of science it's worth trying this out first and see what happens. Just wiping the lens. Didn't want water spots on there. So surprisingly, on the outside of the wheel, pretty much everything came off. There's a little bit of brake dust residue, but certainly nothing major. Using a white towel to try and highlight that a little bit better. A little bit, but not a lot. Certainly if you wanted a quick wash, that'll do. Not going to win any concourse competitions, but obviously without the coating, that a lot of brake dust would be on there. I'm just applying some snow foam. Again, no agitation, just let that sit for probably 3 or 4 minutes. Obviously fast forwarded for the video. Spraying off again. No agitation. Just to see how that works. Snow foam was Adam's car shampoo, just for the record. Again, there's a tiny bit of brake dust coming off, but very small amount. Just to give it the real test, just digging deep in the wheel, and yeah, as expected, there is brake dust still on there. But to be fair, the pressure washer didn't really get in there without using wheel woolies or some kind of implement to get in there. That's not going to come off without a small amount of effort. Obviously in between this I have actually cleaned the wheels properly with wheel woolies. Again, just using shampoo. I didn't use any wheel cleaner or anything. I'm just blow drying them now. I did notice they were incredibly easy to dry. The water just flew off as soon as I hit it with the air. Again, the Adams VRT tyre treatment just makes those wheels dry instantly as soon as you blow them. So all in all, I think I would highly recommend this. I mean, I've only used it for a week so far. Be nice to see it after 6 months how it holds up, but as far as I can see at the moment, that is a process well worth doing. Especially in the UK, we're about to enter the winter months with God knows what on the road. Road salt, grime, this, that and the other. I'm hoping that will stop my wheels getting too messed up over the winter. And there we have it. Obviously in about 3 miles time I'm going to be covered in rust dust from those rusty rotors, but that's all part of the fun. Thanks for watching.